Fellas. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, fellas. Welcome, everyone. This is Monday, August 5th. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, come up to one of these microphones, give us your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind. Call the roll, please.
Cedar.
Here.
Ellery.
Here.
Kinsbatter.
Here.
Koopa.
Here.
Laporte.
Here.
McCartney.
Here.
Watt.
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, number 4 is the consent agenda. City Council minutes of July 15th, 2019, special and regular meetings, recommendation approved. B is the St. Clair Golf Commission minutes of June 11th, 2019 meeting, recommendation received.
Make a motion. If I could, on the agenda, just what was brought to my attention that on the public questions and comments, that it says there's comments that were heard on the sidewalks repair and crack ceiling, and it was actually questions being asked, and I just want to make sure that we're getting responses to the residents when they ask the questions.
That's part of the minutes, you said it?
Yeah. So there's comments made, and there's actually questions asked.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll address those when we get down to number 12. Anything else on the consent agenda? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Presentation of Eagle Scout tonight. Therese, do you want to take care of that?
Thank you. On behalf of the City of St. Clair, we would like to acknowledge an Eagle Scout project. Brendan Anthony Harder is not, unfortunately, he's not here tonight. He was going to try to get off of work, so unless he's running late. He constructed 2 signs that are currently in place, one at the harbor by the fish cleaning station and another at the fishing pier along Rotary Park. They're information signs regarding fishing in the St. Clair River. So there's a graphic of the different types of fish that you can find on the St. Clair River. And he talks about fishing, and he's highlighted the walleye fishing that's popular on the river. And he also includes some DNR information about tagged fish. If you catch a tagged fish, how to report that. And he, in addition to the signage, he made 2 kiosks that cover the sign and will protect it so that it would last longer. So unfortunately, he's not here tonight, but I wanted to recognize him for his project and encourage you to go out there and see it for yourself.
Thank you, Therese.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to number 6, ordinance and resolution A, ordinance induction 2019 for adopted reuse. Mr. Downey.
Your Honor, before council is a proposed ordinance which would amend Article 4 of the zoning ordinance to include what's called an adaptive reuse ordinance. An adaptive reuse is a concept that essentially streamlines the process of repurposing more urban buildings. One of the issues we are confronting currently is the reuse and redevelopment of the St. Clair Middle School, but it would contemplate, for example, old factories or businesses, churches, schools that might fall out of use, and it would ease their transition into a new use rather than going through various permittings from ZBA or planning and ultimately City Council. It would essentially put everything in the lap of planning and put that to a recommendation for City Council's ultimate approval.
Your Honor, I make a motion to approve the
I'll support.
introduction.
All right, the motion is made. Support. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Bill Clinton, 1374 South Riverside now. Would this still require zoning change?
It would be part of the consideration that the applicant would have to consider. Yes.
I mean, somebody that's zoned R1, say for example, would have to come in front of the planning commission and ask for rezoning.
Yes.
And the public hearing portion would still be in effect. People
Yes.
would still have a chance to come and voice their opinion.
Yes.
All right, so there is, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
465 requires public notice, public hearing.
So the zoning would have to be changed.
There are a list of permitted uses under adaptive
Exactly,
reuse.
you're exactly right. And my question is, under adaptive use, do they have to get a zoning change in order to, say, for example, put apartments in, where apartments are, got to be commercial? Under this ordinance, you follow the ordinance, can you do it without getting a rezoning?
That would be considered by planning and recommended to council. I'm not sure specifically whether that would be required or not, Mr. Kleeman.
Because if we take away the public hearing on change in zoning, my house, anybody's house, that with this adaptive use, just if we follow the ordinance, we can do this now. People aren't going to have a say in what comes in their neighborhood.
Well, there is a public hearing requirement, and if for example, if the building that is being repurposed is in a, let's say it's in a residential district, and the purpose of the adaptive reuse was commercial in nature, that would be something that would be discussed at the public hearing. How would that impact the community? Is it consistent with the previous use and so forth?
Then would there be a vote to approve it?
Ultimately, the vote would lie with city council, but it would begin in planning
Because
with a recommendation
I
made.
was always understood that if you follow the ordinance, you don't have to ask permission. As long as you're within the ordinance, you don't need to come to council. I mean, if I build a garage in my house and I stay within the ordinance tells me I can do, I don't need permission. My question, like I said, my question is the people live around, you know, it's a middle school. They're gonna put apartments there. The people live around that gonna have a chance to come in front of council.
They have a chance under 463 and 464 to go
I mean,
before planning and
that's it.
city council,
Is it
yeah.
gonna be a zoning change?
It's a special
Or are
approval
they, Or are
use.
they gonna put these things in an R1 district?
Under 463, it's a special approval uses allowed, and there's like 30 of them. And then
I know, I read them.
Yeah.
I know what they are.
Right, and then there's public notice, public
If you
hearing.
approve that ordinance, you don't need permission to do any of the 30.
You still have to go to planning, yes, and get approval. And they have to have a public hearing, and it comes before us, both.
Like I said,
But will the zoning be changed? No. Will that
No.
apartment
Zoning
sit-
would- the
will
zo-
that
zoning would-
apartment sit there with an R1 because of this?
Yes.
Yeah, they're asking for special approval uses under section
So
4.6.3.
he can do commercial property, business on a piece of property zoned R1 without changing the ordinance,
With an approval from city council?
And planning,
without changing the zoning.
yes. That's my understanding of it.
Yes, that's a correct statement.
All right, because I do have another question coming up about this when you get to further down the agenda about
Okey-doke.
tax abatements on commercial property.
Anybody else? All right, the motion is made, supported, call the roll, please.
McCartney?
Yes.
Platt?
Yes.
Ellery?
Yes.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Koopa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Would it be Resolution 1913, City Employee Pension Millage Renewal? Mr. Downey, is that you again?
Yeah, Your Honor, before City Council is a proposed resolution that would approve ballot language for a dedicated pension millage. This millage was initially approved in the late 1970s for a 20-year period that expired in the year 2000. It was renewed in 1999 for an additional 20-year period that expires next year. This would be the second extension of that 20-year time frame, and resolution by council would allow the county clerk to put this on the ballot for the city electors' consideration on the November ballot.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Any questions?
My only question is, why are we going with 20 years on a 20-year contract with the economy, with what's going on with pensions and how they're supported and funded nowadays? Doesn't it kind of, I mean, you don't see a 20-year contract for anything. Just because it's been done twice previously, why is that a good thing to go 20 years? I mean, can we go with 10 years or 5 years or give us a little bit more flexibility? Is that?
The time limit is, I guess, is up
It's
to...
the council's prerogative.
I'm just wondering if you guys feel any different about that at 20, as far as 20 years. A lot can happen in 20 years, and it has.
I don't have a problem with 20 years, I guess. I would say between now and 20 years, you may have to ask for more, for all I know. Because you're right, I don't know what's going to happen. I can't predict the future that well.
Well, I know, that's why lock yourself to that?
Or you might say it's better security to have 20 years than 10.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Well, it's ultimately up to the voter anyway.
Yeah.
Right, it is,
We're just providing the language to the ballot.
right.
Anybody else? Is the motion made?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Claim at 1374 South Riverside, what does 1 mil generate a year?
186, I think it is.
Pardon me?
186?
What is the city's pension liability per year?
The guy that knows that number off the top of his head is gone, and I don't know off the top of my head.
All right, so how much is generated from the pension fund is generated from my water bill, my sewer bill? Because the price of the pension for the employees at the water plant and the sewer plant is calculated in my water bill. So I would like to know how much is collected from the water bill, what's the pension liability a year, and how much does the 1 mil create?
Okay, at the end of the meeting, you come up and let me write that down, because that's a lot of stuff right there. I mean, and that's going to get it, but I want to know exactly what you want to know.
What does 1 mil
because-
create? How much does the city collect on 1 mil? How much does the city collect on the water and sewer bills? And what's the total pension liability for the city? Okay? 3 things, you got that? Okay. All right, I was just curious because a long time ago when this first started, this was the savior. We didn't have to pay nothing. We approved the 1 mil back a long time ago. That was gonna cover the cost. And like I say, now I'm getting the cost on my water bill, my sewer bill, my tax bill, and now this bill. So I would like to know the numbers, please.
Thank you. All right, call the roll, please.
Watt,
No.
Ellery,
Yes.
Kinsfater.
Yes.
Koopa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
McCartney.
Yes.
Cedar,
Yes.
carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. C is Resolution 1914, local government approval of LLCC license, Manina's Wine House. Paul, do you want to address that a little bit, or?
I can address that.
You got it? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Manina's Wine House currently does hold a liquor license that they require. They are asking for local government approval for an additional tavern license to go along with their submission to the state. So just as a reminder, the council is not approving a license, they're just acknowledging that they are submitting it to the state and giving their approval for it.
Make a motion to approve.
Support.
Any questions? Call the roll, please.
Ellery,
Yes.
Kinsfater.
Yes.
Koopa,
Yes.
Laporte,
Yes.
McCartney.
Yes.
Watt,
Yes.
Cedar,
Yes.
carried, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go to number 7, reports administration. Do you have anything for us today?
I do. A couple things to mention. First, a road update. Residents of North 6th Street and Brown have been sent notices of upcoming road work. There will be paving on North 6th Street between Brown and Highland, currently scheduled to begin on August 19th, and additional paving on Brown between the railroad tracks and 9th to begin August 26th. They're going to alternate scheduling of those because of the route and usage of the roads, so they don't have to make any closures per se. The additional public parking on 5th and Pine is moving forward. The bid opening is August 13th, and then council will receive the recommendation for whom to award for that. The M29 road diet is complete as far as pavement markings are concerned. The intention to decrease the traffic speed and to increase pedestrian safety has been noticed. The situation with the bridge and the congested intersection is being monitored. So please know that administration is in contact with MDOT. We are sharing public comment and our own concerns and suggestions. And if you do have a suggestion, please email it to info@cityofstclair.com with the subject line Road Diet, and I review those and compile it and then share it appropriately. Also, assessing services here at City Hall has changed a little bit. With the retirement of Lynn Houston and the newly executed contract for county services, the new in-house office hours for the assessor are Thursday from 9 to 4. Inquiries outside of that date will be handled by the county with a dedicated service line to the City of St. Clair. And office staff has all been notified with the information, and we expect a smooth transition for that. And lastly, summer tax bills were available as of August 1st, and I believe the deadline for payment is September 30th. That's all I have.
All right, any
Thank
questions
you.
for Ms. Sturdy? B, Mr. Downey, you have anything else?
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
Any questions for Mr. Downey? Okay, city departments, recreation, we have quite a few things. Therese, you want to handle this, or Tim? Sure. You're the police chief, of course.
Got off work at 7, he wants to go home, so. Just a couple things. Boat races went well as far as law enforcement is concerned, no major incidents. I am, for the first time, I think, at least it's under my watch, I'm calling an after-action meeting, scheduling it for the 16th at 11 o'clock here, so that all the participants and the public can come and we can discuss the good and bad of the weekend. So
What time was that, Chief?
11 o'clock here in this room. Also, if anybody's available tomorrow night at the Emmanuel Lutheran, no, Wednesday night, 5 to 7, they're hosting a national night out in their parking lot, and if you want to stop by and say hey, they opened it up to their immediate community this year, and if it goes well, they want to expand it next year and expand it and maybe turn it into a big block party eventually, but they're starting small and they're going to work their way up. So that's Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 7 at Emmanuel Lutheran, 9th and Vine. And then lastly, we are going to roll out a new neighborhood watch thing, and Corporal Ennis is going to explain it real brief to you.
Evening, Council Mayor. So I just want to kind of give you an update of what we're doing in the police department. So as of last Thursday, July 31st, we're rolling out a new program with the company called Nest. I'm not sure if any of you guys know what Nest is. Or sorry, not Nest, Ring. Ring, they make the doorbells, they make video cameras, they make home security systems. So we're going into a partnership with them where our residents are allowed to download the app. Now, if you're owner of Ring, you already have the app on your phone where you can interact with people at your doorbell. But if you don't have a Ring device, you can still download an app called Neighbors. And what that app does, it allows you to create an account. And that account lets you communicate with us communicate with them, and neighbors to communicate with each other. And what I mean by that is, if you have someone suspicious at your front door, you don't know who it is, you can post that video on the neighbor's apps. You can let your neighbors be aware this person's going the doors. Be wary. If you have like a lost pet, you can't find your pet, you can post a picture of your pet on the app. If we have issues within the city, if we have a breaking and entering in a certain area or a bunch of cars that have been ransacked through, we can send messages out to certain parts of the community saying, hey, we had some issues going on here last night. Did anyone see anything? Any videos captured of these people? And it's completely anonymous. So when you sign up for the app, it wants your name and it wants your address. However, when you make a comment on the app, it doesn't say who you are. It just says neighbor 35, neighbor 43. So it's completely anonymous. So when you make a comment that someone broke into my car last night, it's not saying your home address, but you're allowed to still post the video of that area. And then once you're able to download the app and put your address on there, we can circle an area of the town and we can send a message out to that area saying, hey, we need some information, what's going on in that area, what happened last night. And they can feel free to get a hold of us. So I don't have access to your videos, I don't know who signed up. It's just I send a message out and whatever comes back, I use. I'm starting to know a lot more people in our town are starting to use video, which we encourage, because a lot of times we only have maybe 1 or 2 officers working. We can't be everywhere at all times, so we ask for the people that have video cameras or just, neighborhoods watching each other. This is the, a 2019 version of Neighborhood Watch, but it's more digital. So you can upload photos, you can upload comments to the app. We just encourage people to download it and start interacting with us. It doesn't cost us anything. Ring provides everything. They just provide the platform. It's up to us and the residents to make it something fluid and moving. And this isn't like a Facebook where anyone in the world can make a comment. It's just going to be people in our zip code making these comments. So hopefully it's going to be good citizens who want to make their neighborhood and their community safer. Because that's what our ultimate goal is, to make sure everyone's, living in a great neighborhood. And hopefully this platform can be better than what Facebook is. Because there's a lot of negativity on Facebook and making comments. And with this app, this is just people in our zip code that can make the comments and upload photos. So, like I said, it doesn't.
So you don't have to have any video or anything. If somebody's like walking in the neighborhood and you see that, you can just post a comment?
Yep.
Okay.
And so if you have your own security video system, not everyone has the
Right.
Ring. Some people have, they have Nest cameras, they have EasyViz cameras. There's a lot of different companies that you can upload any video you want, any photo, you can make any comment you want. So Ring obviously wants you to buy their product, but it's up to you. You can still download the app, make communication with us, with your neighbors, upload your own video, your own comments. It doesn't cost you nothing. It doesn't cost us nothing. It's it's free both ways. So the one that's more or less advertising for us, hopefully it's a positive way we can communicate with our residents.
So Don, for the people who aren't here or don't see this, how will they find out about this?
So there's two ways you can do it. You can go to your, whatever your app store is on your phone, or you can text St. Clair, just STCLAIR, to 555-888. Again, text St. Clair to 555-888, and that should send you a text message with a link to download it. So I've been pushing out the hard last week with people with lost dogs or stolen bikes. I've been pushing hard these people start uploading your information. So, because it's great for us to know what's going on, but it's more important for the neighbors to know what's going on. Because I'm not in the Times Herald or the Voice paper every day saying this is what's going on in this neighborhood. So we can share information, but we'd rather have the neighbors talk because they're the people who live in that neighborhood. And if they can communicate and let each other know what's going on, I think it makes their lives easier. It makes us easier for identifying, what's going on. Because like our department's a proactive department. We're not a department that reacts to crime. If there's a crime going on in our town, more or less we can take advantage of that and we can investigate it. So we're very thankful to the work in this town and for our residents for letting us be able to be proactive. Like I said, it's free. It doesn't cost the city anything, and it's a device or a platform. Hopefully, we can use to make this community safer. Any questions? I know it's a lot of information, but
When does this start?
it started last Thursday. So you can just go to your smartphone. You have one, don't you? So I think it's just on smartphones.
I have a sort of smartphone.
Yeah, so, I think it's just on smartphones, but if you have a smartphone, you can download it and you create an account. Like I said, it's completely anonymous. Your information will not be shared with us, and it will not be shared with anyone else. And when I ask for video of a certain area, I have no idea who has the video, who doesn't have video. I don't even know who has a camera. I just draw a radius around a certain area, and I say, I shoot out a message to that area. And if something comes back to me, great. If it doesn't, I would never know the difference. So we have, I don't know, I think it's around 100 people signed up now, but I think it's St. Clair and St. Clair Township. They include both right now with the Ring, but hopefully we can get more people to sign up and interact with it. 'Cause
How do we get the word out for the people who aren't here or who don't see this meeting? How do we let them people know?
we have information. We're going to post it. We have posted something on Facebook. I have some cards here we're going to have at our desk, and I'll maybe give some to City Hall too, and maybe they can let them know. But a lot of it's just word of mouth.
Right.
People I come in contact with, I let them know last week, hey, you need to download this. Let us know what's going on, because you are the eyes and ears of our community. We can't be everywhere.
Thank you.
So, any questions?
Thanks for everything, Don.
Yeah, if there's any questions, myself, Officer Elu, and Officer Young will be monitoring the website. And then when someone does make a comment, we will comment back on the website. And you'll see us, Corporal Line of St. Clair PD make that comment. So we're definitely going to stay on top of it and be social with it. So, all right?
Good, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good. All right, Therese.
Thank you. We have another community service project that we would like to recognize. We had a local Boy Scout troop number 294 construct 4 fishing line recycle bins as a community service and awareness project. So just a little information. Fishing lines, of course, are strong and durable and almost invisible in the water, which is great for fishing, but when it's left in the environment, it can cause entanglement of wildlife, fish, and even boat propellers. And because it's a durable product, it can take almost or over 100 years for it to, if it's left in the environment, it would be there for over 100 years before it
decomposes.
Decomposes, yes. So these recycle bins have been placed along the waterfront at different fishing locations. There's 4 of them altogether. There's one at the harbor, there's one at the fishing pier, and there's 2 on the boardwalk on the south end and also by the Voyager parking lot. And local Boy Scout Troop 294 constructed these recycle bins, and I've invited them here tonight to talk about that. If we could have a couple of volunteers come forward, or they can come forward as a group. But they will be in charge of monitoring and collecting and recycling the fishing line that's put in the recycle bins.
Jump right up there, fellas.
My name is David Schlava. I'm with Troop 294. Well, we want to thank Lumberjack and Ace Hardware for donating the PVC for our project that we did. And our hope is that we're going to clean up the waters around the area and just hopefully increase the fish population. Awesome. And that's what we're here for.
All right. Good job. Thank you, fellas. Really, keep up good work.
So the recycle bins have a sign that recognizes the Boy Scout troop and some information about it and some decals. So we hope it's a popular program. Am I next on the list? The classic car show?
Keep it going.
Okay. Another acknowledgement is every year we have the St. Clair River Classic Car Show. This year it was held on Saturday, July 13th. And we wanted to recognize the St. Clair Cruisers, which is a group of volunteers that put this whole event together. Really, the city is just a host. They go out and promote the program. They set up the day of the event. They sign in all the cars and register the cars. They get raffle prizes and they get little decals for the cars and all that. We do work with Vern and Linda Cummings, the city. They're our contact, so Vern especially is with the DPW the days before, making sure that they have the barricades and the cones and the extra trash cans and things there. So the DPW plays a big role in this too. So also the proceeds from the car show come back to the City of St. Clair Recreation Department and the Historical Commission. So I don't know if everyone realizes that. We use the funds for the Recreation Department to help pay for our summer events, like the concerts, the outdoor movie, bike day, our summer jam event at the skate park, and our circus camp that we have with the playground program. Do we have any volunteers from the St. Clair Cruisers here tonight? But we want to thank them again for that event. And then the next item is the Imagination Station. We have a request on behalf of the Recreation Commission to allocate a portion of our 2019 local distribution of the St. Clair County Parks and Recreation Millage Fund to the project. We are requesting the amount of $12,000 to go towards the project, and that project is ongoing. You may have noticed that Sunday was the last day of play at the Imagination Station program, and we've been starting today. We had the snow fence up, and we are going to be demoing the playground and rebuilding a new playground. We are still actively pursuing volunteers and donations. We need donated labor and services and materials. So this amount will help us reach our goal. The build is scheduled September 10th through the 15th, so it's a 6-day build. And we have had a volunteer committee working on this very hard. A lot of hours have been put in, but we still want people to know we have this month of August to really push to meet our goal for the project.
Teresa, are you coming back in the future to ask for that 12, or are you asking that tonight?
We are asking for that tonight, if that could be committed, so that that will help us put us over that $200,000 mark for the project right now.
I would need that in the form of a motion.
I would make a motion to approve that.
All right, the motion is made and supported to allocate the $12,000 from the Parks Recreation Millage Fund. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next item is the Palmer Park Boardwalk dedication ceremony. And we have a dedication ceremony scheduled for Sunday, August 25th at 3:30. And we are including acknowledgement of city, county, state organizations that helped us put the Palmer Park new boardwalk in. I have contacted the DNR, and they are planning on attending. And the St. Clair Chamber has graciously offered to invite anyone that comes to the dedication ceremony to go across the park to the Riverview Plaza for an open house where they'll have refreshments. And it's also the Sunday Music in the Park series will be going on. In addition to the dedication, we will, if the public is interested, give them an opportunity to walk the boardwalk as a group. So we will be getting invitations out. All of City Council is invited, of course, the public, our rec commission. We have some local dignitaries and individuals that were key in getting this project done. They will also be acknowledged and invited to the ceremony. And I think this is the last item on the grant, or on the agenda. I'm talking grants here. But the city applied for a FIT grant through the Michigan State University Extension Service, and that stands for a First Impression Tourism Assessment. So we had, earlier this year, 5 first-time visitors they came to St. Clair, and they had some criteria that they had to go through and kind of assess our community. So again, kind of a secret shopper program or first-time visitors. So it's their first impressions. And we have on September 19th from 5:30 to 8 at the Pine Shores Golf Course, a presentation that will address some of our strengths and weaknesses that these visitors notice for our community. So hopefully we'll benefit from their input. And again, the public is welcome to attend. You do have to register for the event, and I have flyers here, and we'll have it posted on Facebook and our St. Clair Recreation webpage. If you would please register for the event so that we have an idea of how many people will be attending. And that will also give us an idea if we can take registration at the door. And I think that's it.
All right, any questions for Teresa? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll go to D, authorities, boards, commissions, committee chairs, or council reps. Anybody have anything?
I'd just like to thank Dave Shorkey and the Boat Harbor staff for putting on a very entertaining Mardi Gras. It was very organized, a lot of people there, and I don't think there were any issues, so.
Yeah, it's very well attended.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I do have
Yep.
an announcement to make on behalf of the cemetery board. On September 21st, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., Hillside Cemetery will be conducting Community Cares. We did this a few years ago, and it was a very successful day. I'll read the agenda. Is a few basic cleaning supplies and some elbow grease can dramatically improve the appearance of a cemetery marker. Join us to provide care to those in need. Supplies and refreshments will be provided. And for those that are at home or can have a pencil, you can contact Betty Fryer. She is handling the attendance. and her phone number is 810-841-5288. And then supplies will be donated by St. Clair Ace Hardware, Lumberjack, and Foster Bullet Oil Company. So again, September 21st, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. We have no unfinished business. Number 8, we'll go to number 9, new business. A, schedule public hearing for commercial facilities exemption certificate 503 North Riverside.
Now, in your packet is a memo stating that the clerk's office received an application from On the Vine LLC for a commercial facilities tax exemption certificate under Public Act 255 of 1978. And in accordance with the Section 6.2 of the Act, a public hearing is required, and it's recommended that the public hearing be scheduled for 7 o'clock on Tuesday, September 3rd, noting there's no meeting on Monday due to Labor Day, so the first applicable meeting would be Tuesday, September 3rd.
I'll make a motion, Your Honor.
I'll support.
Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's go to B, public hearing for commercial rehab exemption certificate 301 North 6th Street.
Yes, the clerk's office is also in receipt of an application from SMDRP LLC for a commercial rehabilitation exemption certificate. This is under Public Act 210 of 2005, which also requires a public hearing. And it is recommended that the public hearing be scheduled for that same date because we do have a representative of both entities speaking for Tuesday, September 3rd, again at 7 o'clock.
So moved, Your Honor.
Support.
Any questions?
I'm at 1374 South Riverside. I was just kind of curious how a piece of property zone residential qualifies for commercial tax exemption.
Do you know the answer to that? I don't know.
It is not a commercial property at this point. That's something that's going to have to be addressed through either zoning or through the recently introduced ordinance, the adaptive reuse ordinance. So before council tonight is simply the scheduling of a hearing. And I think the issue of what the zoning of the property is or what the ultimate use of the property is going to be determined at that time.
So it's still zone residential.
It is, yes.
So could I apply for one, being a residential homeowner?
If you wish,
I could apply for a commercial tax exemption?
you may. If you wish, and it would come here, we'd have to.
I'm just curious.
If the documentation is submitted to the city, we have to schedule a hearing on that application. That's the first step in the process.
Because when I read, and trust me, I don't understand anything I read, the first thing that qualifies for being a commercial tax exemption is the property has to be a commercial piece of property. That's the first thing that has to be. And this is still zone residential. So aren't we getting the cart in front of the horse? Should we change the zoning first and then apply for the commercial tax exemption? Trust me, I'm no attorney, but I do a little bit of reading.
The obligation of the clerk's office is to present the information to council. We receive the application. We're required to hold a public hearing, so those questions will be answered at that time.
Okay, so my question will be answered in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? We have support on that?
Yes, yes. Member McCartney and Member Cooper.
All right, call a roll, please. I'm sorry, we don't have to call a roll on that, do we?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, sorry about that.
You're welcome. That's okay.
All right, C, a special event permit for St. Mary's Fall Festival.
I've received all the paperwork for the St. Mary's Annual Fall Festival scheduled for the 27th, 28th, 29th of September, and I recommend their approval.
Motion to approve. Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Chief. Number 10, claims and accounts for July 19th, July 25th, and August 1st, 2019.
Hearing no questions, Your Honor, I make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion made, support, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, number 11, public comment, public questions. Any public comments or questions?
evening. I'm Steve Path, and I'm on a board member of the St. Clair Art Association and a co-chairman of the Art Fair. My reason for being up here tonight is I want to thank the city of St. Clair. I want to thank the police department, Tim and Mike, and everybody else, especially Annette. What an outstanding job you guys did for us this year. It was really nice to work in harmony with the city of St. Clair. We had a few little hiccups, and you guys addressed them rather promptly. And a big thank you is in place here for all your dedication and hard work. This was our 48th year. We're working on next year, 49th year. We're a nonprofit art association in St. Clair, and this is a rather taxing event for us. We're all volunteers. None of us really get paid to do this. It's our kind of gift to the city, to give back to the city, to put the city on the map. I'm not sure how much the public or the city council realizes how well known this fair is in the art world. We bring artists in from within the state and out of the state, and in the art world it's well known. We've talked to a lot of artists that we know, and everybody mentions St. Clair, and oh yeah, the St. Clair Art Fair. So it's a big event. It's a lot of work for us, but it's something that we're proud to do because the city is it's a nice place. Hopefully the water will maintain its level, maybe go down just a little bit, but that was a lot of fun. We did have some water going over the boardwalk, and people made light of it, and the kids enjoyed it. They were splashing it and having a good time. So actually it turned out to be, it was a concern for us, but it turned out to be a benefit for them. So if there's any suggestions or complaints, feel free to contact any of our members at the art studio. We'd love to hear from everybody, suggestions on how to make it better. We're always open for opinions, so feel free to address us. So once again, we'd like to thank the community. We'd like to thank especially the city council. Annette, you did a fantastic job. I was calling her quite a bit. And Tim, really appreciate your input, so thank you once again. Look forward to seeing you everybody next year.
Thank you, Steve.
Any questions?
Anybody else?
Bill Claim at 1374 South Riverside. 2 weeks ago, I asked about crack sealing, sidewalk replacement, and the removal of detour signs for Cycle Highway.
Yep. I'm going to go under number 12. I'll
All
get
right.
that.
And a while back, I asked about the dirt washing down Oak Street on the South Riverside. There's been a pile of dirt down there, and the catch basin's been covered for quite a while. Is there any, he said I asked about that a while back.
Yeah, I actually drove down there maybe a couple of days. You asked, that was the same time you asked about the big puddle in front of Burger King, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, because I went down there right after that storm, and the next morning it rained like heck, if you remember, and I went down there. And I know what happens because I've seen it before, but that day I went down there, it was fine.
I mean, there's still a pile of gravel down there that washes down from Oak Street.
Right now?
Yeah, it's been there since I asked you about it.
Yeah.
And what's the city, what's the fix on it? Catch basins?
I don't know. I'll talk to Bob Booth about it, though.
Because, what is it, 8th Street? That's between Clinton and Woodrow. City put a curb in to solve the same problem. On the east side, city went in to put a curb in there, no street, just curb, to resolve the same problem. So I was just kind of curious if we can get that done down there.
Yeah, I'll ask.
And other thing is, I was on council when the road diet was approved and was supposed to be one lane from one end of town to the other end of town. South of the bridge is still 2 lanes. Any
Going
particular
south
reason why?
only.
Pardon me?
Going south.
Going south only.
Yeah, from the bridge to the south, to the city limits, it's still 2 lanes. And the road diet was called for 1. Why is it 2 lanes.
Yeah, I think you have a question, that into Eric. Eric Tamlin is,
Because rumor I heard was somebody jumped the gun when they restriped it. And they restriped it back to the original spot.
I don't know that
2
to be
lanes.
true.
So
but-
is it gonna be 1 lane?
But we have a call in to Eric Tamlin, the engineer. We're trying to write everything
The
down we got
approval
questions
was
about.
1 lane from city limit to city limit, correct?
I don't know if that was an approval,
No,
that was our
actually-
suggestion.
Well, that's what we approved with MDOT, because I was on council when.
I know you were, but it was, we suggested it, when they were gonna do whatever they wanted. We told them what we would like. MDOT was gonna do whatever they
All right,
wanted
so
to
it's
do.
MDOT that made it 2 lanes,
Well, we didn't do it.
Yeah.
because it didn't slow traffic down over there with the 2 lanes.
I will check, but I know that the big part of the problem over that bridge was that railroad crossing, that MDOT's rules and CSX rules are not the same, and they're trying to figure out how to make that crossing.
Doesn't CSX trump over MDOT?
They
So
trump
what is-
everybody.
What does CSX got to, if it's 1 lane going north, why can't it be 1 lane going south?
It has something to do with the
The truck's turning into Cargill.
CSX setback rules are different than MDOT's, so there's an issue with, there has to be notice on the lane change. So if they take it from 2 to 1, there has to be enough feet to make the move, and there's a difference in CSX's setback rules and MDOT, so they're trying to work that out. I just met with the engineer this morning, he's out there observing it, and he mentioned to me that there's some changes that still need to be made, because whoever striped it made some issues that he wasn't happy
Like I
with.
said, I was under pressure, it could be bike path over there, because there's no sidewalks over there, and stuff like that. All right. And did we come up with a contract with the clerk?
She's putting that together. I think she's going to have to the next meeting. She wasn't ready this meeting.
All right, she'll have that next meeting?
Well, she's working on it.
All right. And a couple weeks ago, Butch asked me about public having the right to ask questions. And you asked me where I seen it at? Oh, that's where I seen it at. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? All right, let's go to number 12. I do have kind of a lengthy list here, so be patient, please. Let's start with this. September 10th through the 15th, Imagination Station rebuild, and I was talking with the group yesterday, and they are in need of 80 volunteers per day for 6 days. 80 volunteers per shift. And shifts are 8 to 12, 12 to 12:30 is lunch, 12:30 to 5, 5 to 5:30 is dinner. They need people to do anything from serving food, soap and screws, carrying paint, watching kids, and just all kinds of things. So if you want to register, you go online and do that. I do have the information here if you're interested, but we need volunteers. Obviously, it's a major, major, major project. Congratulations to our 10 and under girls and Ron Cook, their coach, state champions. It's good stuff. Jazz Festival, August 17th, down in the park. Boat races were a great success. Great job, Butch. Mardi Gras, great success. That was wonderful. Kayaks. I don't know if people know this, but if you go to the boat harbor for $10 an hour, you can run a kayak. It's kind of a nice deal. To Mr. Kleeman's questions from a few weeks ago, the crack ceiling, here's the answer. We'll either start at the end of this week or the beginning of next week. That's the crack ceiling. The sidewalks, we've already got some bids coming in on doing some sidewalks on Clinton Avenue, so we do have a program going. The signs out on St. Clair Highway, were supposed to come down today.
Correct. They're supposed to come down today.
They've been measuring for the last 5 weeks. It has not moved. So that's good news. So we're going to open
So
up.
the detour signs on M29 and everywhere else that we have detour St. Clair Highways coming down.
That's what I was
I
told.
mean, they're all over the place. The Bree Road,
Yeah.
Hathaway, M29.
Yeah. So be patient. It might take a day or two, but they're supposed to be coming down starting today.
Well, there might be some still up for the Bree Road haul route permit.
Oh.
I think that's in effect until November,
It just says St. Clair Highway detour,
Yeah.
so.
then those should all come down.
So it hasn't moved in 5 weeks, so we're going to open it up to light truck traffic. Let's see what else. Volunteers. I guess that's all I have.
Your Honor, on the St. Clair Highway, if they're going to open up truck traffic, I would just make a recommendation that we monitor the dust issue. It does get dry with this dry season. I mean, the dust, it's noticeable when it's just car traffic, and there's been a few comments that's been made to my attention on that,
All
too.
right, thanks. All right, does anybody have anything else?
All right, Your Honor, I do have a couple, I'm not going to probably email you these things and that to the website or to the city for the striping, but my understanding was that they were going to stripe for bike paths on both sides of M29, and those had not been done, or they're not identified anyway for bike path. And then the turn arrows in the middle and the turn lane has no indication what that's for, other than you drive between two yellow lines. Now, most of us that went to driver's training know what that means, but I think that they need to put turn arrows down
In the
those.
left turn lane, you mean?
Yeah,
Which-
the center
which
turn
one?
lane, they need to have turn arrows.
You mean
And
all
then-
the way down?
I think they do, from north to south. And especially the bike, if they're gonna, I thought that the plan called for bike paths on both sides, and they're not identified. It's just, there's no markings for bike paths.
I have talked to Eric Tamlin about that exact issue, and the last conversation that council had, there were two representations that MDOT was going to consider and then create their own. And our conversation here was whether or not to put the bike path on one side or the other. As it stands right now, the pavement markings do not indicate a bike path. It is a non-motorized vehicle striping, and there will not be any additional markings at this time. So if that's something you want to pursue, to make it strictly a bike path, and there was an explanation on that regarding the various bike paths that we connect to. Is it the Bridge to Bay, Trace, or which bike paths we have here? But at this time, there are no additional pavement markings scheduled, but it was something I talked about, and I think, well, if that's what you'd like, I'll make that recommendation to him.
And then, one last thing, the southbound turn lane, I think it happens right around in front of the park, the senior housing, or whatever that's called now, to turn right on Clinton only. I think they need to start arrowing that a little bit sooner than the arrow close to the intersection, because people are still using that as a straight through.
Actually,
Yeah.
I was talking to him this morning. I'd love them to get rid of that solid white line all the way back to Cass, and let them stack up the turn right on Clinton a lot sooner.
Yeah, because there's no parking there anyway.
Right.
Right,
Yeah,
so-
so he was looking at that, taking notes, but I don't know what he's
Are
gonna
they gonna arrow it too?
do. If they open it. It's arrowed down in front of.
Only when you get close to the intersection?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm not gonna get into it, but
I think there needs to be
if anybody up there can tell me what a non-motorized vehicle is other than a bicycle.
That was gonna be
I know.
my comment.
Wheelchair.
I don't know what.
Skateboard. Wheelchairs. I think there needs to be a stronger indication that it's a turn right only, because more than a few times I've seen people just sitting there waiting to go straight, because at that point it does turn into two lanes. So they think that's a straight or turn right.
Yeah.
And I got some go-getters that work for me that have actually been issuing citations for people crossing the solid white line to turn right on. So, I mean, it's a mess. If we go all the way back to Cass, that would be a dream, but I don't know if they'll do it or not.
Yeah, that would help a lot. We knew that intersection going in, we knew it was gonna be a pickle. We got to smooth it
Well,
out.
it's working, the lights, it's working well. I mean, I went through 2 cycles Sunday, going northbound on M29 in the straight-through lane. I just went through 2 cycles. It was, and I was all the way down past the smoke shop.
There was one time we
So,
got caught
it
in there
moved.
for about 10 minutes, but the line was backed up to almost 5th Street.
Yeah.
The lights move the traffic. They're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. All right,
The parking markings that are on 29, are those going to be enforced? I just noticed a bunch of cars. It was a mess when I came home.
Oh, yeah, and I don't know if that's all they're gonna do is those little
Yeah.
90s or not. He wasn't, I mean, it's just a little 90s.
Yeah.
Very little paint. They didn't go out of the way, let's put it that way. Yeah, I don't know what he was taking notes because there were some things that the contractor did that he didn't want done and some things that he wanted done that wasn't done. And I gave him some suggestions, but
Chief, while you're standing there, are they gonna close, one of the discussions when we first started this is that the north and south entrance of the plaza, once they did this road diet, that was gonna be closed off. You weren't gonna be able to make turns and come in and out of there because of the fact that you're coming into one lane. Is that still in the works, or is that?
I haven't heard.
that's Riverview Plaza, that's not.
No, the entrance and exits are not Riverview, that's up to MDOT. It's entering their roadway.
I don't think so.
I think we ought to find
I will
out.
ask, I'm not sure what that answer is.
Yeah.
That was part of our discussion with the road diet.
I believe that project got put on pause with their whole gate.
Could be. Thank you, Chief. Anybody else have anything?
I did talk to the MDOT person that's out tweaking the light, and there's a couple of questions came up, and I said, well, why isn't it moving faster? And he indicated if there was a hawk light on each side of M29 at Clinton on both sides, because right now the light is, because of MDOT's rules, it has to allow for a pedestrian to go from one side of the street to the other. Once the hawk lights, when the signal gets upgraded, if there's no pedestrians there, the timing will increase, and I think it was like, it'll go a lot faster. Because right now it's assuming that there's a pedestrian that wants to cross the street. Because when the bridge goes up, the traffic does back up, and that would help eliminate it.
Right. All right, anybody else? All right. We'll go to number 13. I'm going to ask for a motion to go into closed session to discuss tragedy connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement with the employees represented by the Police Officers Labor Council and employees represented by the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME.
I'll make that motion.
Support. The motion is made, supported. Call the vote, please.
Kinsfater?
Yes.
Koopa?
Yes.
Laporte?
Yes.
McCartney?
Yes.
Watt?
Yes.
Ellery?
Yes.
Cedar?
Yes.
Carried, Your Honor.
You're welcome to say we may take action when we come out. I can't guarantee that we will or we're not, but we may. But you're welcome to stay. If not, thank you for coming. Have a good night.